everyone. Today I'm going to discuss some Avengers The Endgame theories from the trailer. So I decided to, instead of doing a breakdown of the trailer, I decided to base all of my theories and Sony's theories into one video. If you haven't checked out our live yet on our reaction of the Avengers The Endgame trailer, go ahead and check it out. It will be in the description down below. There we talk about a lot of our theories that we're going to be talking about in this video. So let's get started. So the first theory is, who will save Tony Stark in space? As most of you know, in the trailer, we see Tony Stark stuck on the Guardians of the Galaxy ship with Nebula. Now, he is obviously stuck there, and he said that he has ran out of food and oxygen will be gone tomorrow, which obviously is saying that he is about to die. Now, a lot of Marvel fans think that Tony Stark is not going to die at this moment, that Marvel is just trying to scare us at this moment. So my theory on who I think Tony will be saved by is either Captain Marvel or Pepper Potts. The reason why I think Captain Marvel will save Tony Stark is because I feel like this is the way Marvel can basically introduce Captain Marvel. She could just be zooming around, maybe even trying to get back to Earth, because we know that Tony Stark is trying to get back to Earth, is trying to get back to the Avengers to see who is still alive. So maybe Captain Marvel is coming back to Earth because she is experiencing the same exact thing, and she runs into the Guardians of the Galaxy ship where Tony is. And she finds Tony, and she finds a way to rescue him and Nebula and bring him back to Earth. Now, for the other way I think Tony Stark might be rescued is from Pepper Potts. Now, we saw a picture that the actor released of her in some sort of Iron Man costume, and you can tell that she was on the set of Avengers The Endgame. That kind of links to my theory that I think that Pepper Potts is going to rescue Tony using that suit. Now, I saw this online that a lot of people say the suit is called the rescue suit or something like that. People think that she is going to get Tony Stark's message that he recorded, and she's going to get in one of Tony Stark's suit that he's been making, like a prototype, and she's going to fly all the way to where Tony is right now. So that's another theory for that. Now, this next theory is basically what happens if Tony Stark actually dies and no one rescues him. Now, a lot of people think this is very unlikely, but as we said in our live, this is kind of Sony's theory, is that Tony Stark will die in the Guardians of the Galaxy ship. But Nebula, who is a robot and who can still survive, will somehow get to Earth and tell the other Avengers there that Tony Stark is dead. And obviously this would cause a lot of sadness, and especially the originals would be very sad. But I think that this is where this time travel theory comes in that a lot of people thought will happen. I think that in order to defeat Thanos, they need to use Tony Stark's brain. Like, they need ideas from him, since he is the smartest Avenger. Even though a lot of people say Bruce Banner might be, I think he's smarter than Bruce. So I think they will figure out a way to time travel back in time to get Tony Stark and tell him about Thanos and basically ask him for help, and Tony Stark, who is in the past, will give them their help, and then they will come back to Earth, to present time where Thanos is, and they will start fighting Thanos. That's another theory that Sony made that I also think that might happen, that could link the time travel theory to it. Now to another theory that I'm going to discuss is what is going to happen to all the other Avengers who survived the snap. So we know that Rocket, War Machine, and Okoye survived the snap because they didn't disappear. Now, what happened to them? So I think that they all are doing other things. I think that War Machine is actually gonna go to the army or Pepper and like maybe tell her what happened. or he's going to go to the army, which I think is most likely going to happen, and he is basically going to just try to protect the army, saying that, well, we don't know if Thanos is going to come back, so this is our only chance. So I think he's going to go back to the Navy, the army, the military, and try to protect the Earth. I think Rocket, he's probably going to try to contact the Guardians because he doesn't know that they went away. I think he's going to try to figure out how to contact the Guardians. And Okoye, I think she's going to stay in Wakanda and try to protect Wakanda. And then we all know the 6 original Avengers are trying to figure out how to defeat Thanos. And I think the 3 people who are still alive will come back to help them. But I think in the beginning or in the middle, it's going to be about the 6 main Avengers just trying to figure out how to defeat Thanos. So the next theory that I'm going to talk about is how I think Ant-Man escaped the quantum realm. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking that's kind of impossible to escape the quantum realm because they said you can't do it. But then I was thinking back to the original Ant-Man movie where Scott basically used the Pym particle that makes you bigger. He used that on himself and he got out of the quantum realm. So I think right now Ant-Man in the quantum realm has those Pym particles, and I think he's going to do exactly what he did in the first Ant-Man, use it to make him bigger again, and then find out that no one is there. Because a lot of people I know were saying time travel, but then I was like, that kind of doesn't make sense. I think this is a theory that makes more sense, that he uses the Pym particle to make himself bigger. So the next theory is, where are all the other Avengers? Will they be coming back, or will they just be staying wherever they are? So my theory has always been that they're in the Soul Stone, and a lot of people agree with that. Now, in the fact of if the Avengers are going to return, that's another idea. I do not think they're going to return. I think the way this is all going to play out is that the original 6 are going to get back together, and they're basically going to unite together, think of a plan, and then go against Thanos themselves. And then I think at the end, someone is going to get the gauntlet, someone's going to get the Soul Stone and release the main Avengers, and then they're going to all come together and completely dominate Thanos. Or it comes to where the original 6 defeat Thanos with some consequences, and then someone releases all the Avengers. So that's my theory. I do not think the new Avengers who are in the gauntlet are going to be in the Endgame, mostly like in Infinity War. I think the Endgame's gonna basically focus around the original 6. My next theory is, will the gauntlet be used in Endgame? So this is a theory that I've kind of am a little bit I don't know if it's true or not. It's a very broad theory. I do think the gauntlet will come back because in order for most of them to use those Infinity Stones, they need the gauntlet. But as much as I want it to come back, I don't think it will be a big part in this movie, just because I think the whole point is now Thanos is not that strong. He doesn't have any of the Infinity Stones. He has nobody to use them. He kind of is happy with his life and is living on a farm, as we can tell in the trailer. So I don't think that he is going to use a gauntlet. I think he's going to hide the Infinity Stones. And I think the movie will be somehow the Avengers are going to try to get a few of the Infinity Stones. And I think that Thanos will get rid of the gauntlet, but I think that the gauntlet will somehow return. I don't know. It'll somehow return. I do want it to return. I haven't got a theory for if it will return, but I think that the Avengers are going to use some sort of power, something to wield all these Infinity Stones. So I'll kind of recap that because this is kind of a bit broad and all that. So I think that the Thanos will hide the Infinity Stones because he has no use for them anymore. I think he will hide them, maybe with himself, maybe not. And I think the Avengers will get a hold of maybe a few of them, or maybe not. And then I think that's the big fight between Thanos and the original Avengers. It's about getting those Infinity Stones. And I hope the gauntlet comes back. I mean, we saw a second gauntlet in Odin's treasure room, which people say is a fake. It could be real. Maybe that somehow survived, or they could go back to the planet, the Nevelier, I think it's called. I don't remember what it was called. And I think they might go back there. If that elf is still alive, maybe recreate the gauntlet, get at least one of the Infinity Stones and use it. I don't really know. But I think if someone was to wield the gauntlet, it would definitely be Nebula, because in the comics, Nebula actually wields the gauntlet, and I think that Marvel might go that way. So that was kind of like if the gauntlet will return. I don't think it will, just because I think the Avengers have more of a shot with Thanos not having the gauntlet. So the next theory is, who do I think will die in Avengers The Endgame? So a lot of people say that it's going to be either Captain America or Tony Stark. Other people are saying maybe even Thor could die too. It's very now vague to see who's going to die. I originally thought that it was just going to be Captain America, but in an interview with the Russo brothers, they were saying how Captain America might come back, so who knows? But still, I don't think Tony Stark's gonna die. I think Marvel wants us to believe that. It would be cool to see my time travel theory come true, but I don't think he's gonna die. I don't think there's any way that they're gonna make that happen, just because I feel like Tony Stark is still a big part of Marvel and everything. I don't think they'll kill him off. I think they want people to think that. I think it actually might be more Black Widow. I don't know. I feel like she might die. Now that I'm thinking about it, because no one's mentioning her. People are mentioning about contracts. And I'm thinking that contracts kind of don't matter, because even if the actor leaves the part, they could have another actor come in. There was something I saw on Twitter actually about John Cena actually playing Captain America. Like, they could recast the role. That's what I'm saying. It's not always about the actor. But I think they might kill off Black Widow. A lot of people aren't saying they will kill her off. I think they might. I also still think Captain America will die, because just in the trailer I was explaining in the live, he was actually looking he was like crying, and he was saying how if this doesn't work, he doesn't know what he's gonna do. And there's a scene where he's actually looking at Peggy Carter's picture, and I think at this scene he's kind of looking at her picture being like, if I die in this final battle, at least I'll get to see Peggy. So that kind of is a bit broad on what I'm talking about, but I think that he might die. And the way I want actually Marvel to kill him off, like a way that I would be okay, is that if Peggy, the actor who plays Peggy, comes back and it's the role as Peggy Carter, and they have like a scene where Captain America goes with Peggy and he dies. And I think I would be okay with that. But I think that at this point, anyone can really go. Like, even Hawkeye, who's now Ronin, he can go too. Even though he has a family and people might be like, oh, well, Marvel won't do that, he can still, like, go. Anyone in this movie can go. I think it would definitely be a big surprise of who we think will die, because everyone's saying that Captain America and Iron Man are going to die. And I think they want us to believe that. So who knows? My money is either on Black Widow or Captain America. My theory is those two. And the way, obviously, I think of them dying is in the final battle against Thanos. I think Captain America actually might sacrifice himself in some way to save the world, and he'd be doing like a good deed, and then after, everyone would remember him as like the greatest hero of all time. So my next theory is about Ronin. I think that Ronin is actually evil. So I didn't explain this in the live that much, but as I was watching the trailer like over and over, because I mean, who wouldn't do that? I think that Ronin is actually evil in some way, that he is kind of corrupted by jealousy and revenge. Not jealousy, sorry, I meant just revenge. Like, he's corrupted by revenge, because this movie obviously takes place a few weeks, I think, after Infinity War, not years, because the Guardians of the Galaxy ship does not have that much food to provide for Tony Stark. So I think that this movie takes place a few weeks after, and I think Ronin is upset that his family is all gone and he is trying to find answers. So that's why he goes to Japan or wherever he is, or in China, and he kills people because he's heard that they know what happened or something like that, and he's like trying to figure out what happened, and he's kind of like slaughtering people, and he's like becoming this full-on evil person. I think that's what Ronan is. And I think that's why Black Widow comes, because the Avengers heard of someone who's been actually killing people, and the Avengers who are back on Earth find out that it's actually Hawkeye. So they send Black Widow, and that's that scene where Hawkeye looks at Black Widow, and that's kind of like where he joins back with the Avengers. That's a bit rambling, you guys don't understand what I was trying to say. I'll kind of recap it. I think that Ronan goes to Japan to try to find answers about what happened. He doesn't find answers and he starts slaughtering people, and Black Widow comes and kind of redeems him, just like what Hawkeye did to her in that way, and he comes and joins the Avengers. So I think that's how he comes with the Avengers. My other theory that I have is, how will the Avengers find Thanos? Now, this one's a bit difficult because we don't have a lot of information and I still don't really know. I do think it has something to do with Nebula and Captain Marvel. So I do think Nebula will definitely will come to Earth. Don't know about Tony Stark, but I do think Nebula will come to Earth, and she would probably have some sort of answer for them. But she will basically be like, I think I know where Thanos is and where he would go. I think that she will be a really big help in the endgame to the Avengers of where to find Thanos. Okay guys, so that's kind of all that I have for today's video. I know this was very broad. I was actually doing this off script, and for me, when I do off scripts, I ramble a lot. So I hope you guys somehow understood what I was saying. But if you made it to the end, thanks for watching. I know a lot of people were doing trailer breakdowns, and I was like, I want to do something new. I want to do a theory video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't already, check out our live reaction. It's an actual live reaction of the Avengers The Endgame trailer. And yeah, like this video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to have a magical day.